Daisy, what are you doing? She's bathing. Hey guys, today we're going to be continuing what we had talked about a couple weeks ago. I had forgotten. I actually thought that Selena's appointment was today, not last Tuesday, but I looked at it wrong on the calendar. So I mixed up my Tuesdays. So her cardiologist appointment was last week. We haven't gotten any kind of information since we went, like on her blood work or anything. And I'm thinking I'm going to call today, but they haven't said anything about her blood work. They haven't said anything else about possibly taking her off that one medication like they had talked about before. Whenever we went to the appointment, so we don't know what's going on exactly, other than her EKG looked good, and she has to go back to that cardiologist in a year, and she has to go back to, her cardiac electrophysiologist in August. That's really the only update I have about that, but that's the reason why I had to miss last week. Also, I want you guys, y'all, I don't know if Donna's here. She may be, she may not be. She's been having some health problems herself on antibiotics and things. And then antibiotics cause her problems too. So she's not been feeling well. But I want to ask y'all for prayer for her niece, Ellie. She's, I can't remember how old she is. But she's little. And she has to have a very painful test today at 2:15 Central Time. So it'll be during this Bible study that she has to have that test done, which sometimes, you know how hospitals and stuff do. They'll say it's at 2:15, but it'll be 3 or 4. You know how they do. But anyway, keep Ellie in your prayers and her parents, and also Donna, because they're going through some things right now. I don't remember exactly what the test is for. I can't remember. I just wrote down Ellie's appointment for painful tests. That's all I wrote down. And I wanted y'all to keep her in prayer. And even if you see this later, it doesn't matter. Still pray for them, even if you're not here right now. But I think that's all that I can think of right now. My sister, Judy, the one that had the baby early, and she's been in the hospital since. Oh, she's 3 months old. Okay. I couldn't remember. I thought she was little, but I couldn't remember how little. I was thinking she was a little older than that, actually. I'm mixing up your two nieces, though, I think, is Tilly and Ellie. I think I mixed up their ages, maybe. And Tilly actually had an accident and cut her little chin, which she's doing good. Donna told me she was doing good. But anyway, keep all of them in your prayer. And my sister Judy, they found out that Julie is going to be getting out of the hospital a month, or actually a little bit more than a month earlier than what they had planned, which is good. But it's still scary because she's going to have to come home with the feeding tube and everything. And so Judy and David have to go to have a week-long, it's actually a little bit over a week-long training to know how to feed her and to know how to do all those things. And that's going to be happening in May. So May 9th, that week, I will not be doing the Bible study because the babies, well, they're not babies, but the kids will be here. And that next week, I get to meet Julie. And she'll get to come home. And her siblings will get to meet her for the first time. So that's what's going on. That's the only updates I know of. That's the prayer request that I know of right now. Just, if there's anybody you can think of that you want to have prayer for, either leave it in the comments, leave it in the live chat, because that's supposed to be, that's supposed to still be there whenever this goes live whenever it's saved to the channel. And also, if you ever have a prayer request, you can send it to me in email. My email is on my About page, and I think I put it in the description box. I can't remember. I need to do that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the study. I don't know how long this is going to be because last time we talked about two different books of the Bible. Well, two different chapters in one book. But this time we're not. There's not much scripture to this one. And we talked about Gog and Magog and how that in Ezekiel, how that the battle was, and how that God had triumphed over the enemy in that in the battle, and how things happened with that. And then today we're going to go to Revelation, which is Revelation 20. Why do I keep thinking 10? I think because there is something in the notes about Genesis 10. I believe it's 10. Let me just not get ahead of myself. And y'all, I usually don't wear my glasses because of the glare, but I just got these yesterday and they asked me to wear them for a few days to make sure that they're okay. And I'm sorry for the glare. I can't do anything about it. I need to wear them so that my eyes can get used to them, even though I don't have to wear glasses all the time. Right now I do. Optometrist said so. Because you have to get used to them. But anyway, in Revelation, Gog appears again in Revelation 27-9. And this is the thing that I left last time. Oh, there's no glare. You don't see the little, I see it, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like reflections or whatever. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I can see it, but y'all can't. That'd be awesome. But anyway, this is what I had left in the description last time, the little about the Bible prophecy on Bible Gateway. BibleGateway.com, which I do have that link, I want to say in the description. It's an awesome website to go look at. And also you can do, let me look to make sure I'm right before I lie to you. Yes, you can do an app on your phone with Bible Gateway if it'll focus. Okay, it's not going to focus. We're not going to fight with it. Anyway, I was going to try to show you the name. I just all of a sudden got 2 emails. Okay. There, it's on the top, but it's just not focusing. It doesn't matter. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm losing it today. The glasses are giving me a bit of a headache too, and I'm just losing my brain. All right, so let's get to what we need to be going to. God appears again in Revelation 27-9, where Satan is depicted after the millennium as gathering the nations of the whole earth, that is, Gog and Magog, against the saints and beloved city, but they are destroyed and cast into the lake of fire. That's what a little bit, a snippet of what that says, which I did have that in the last one. I'm going to try to remember to go back and get the links, the link to that, and put it in this video thing too. So there's not much to read from this. It's Revelation 27-9. And it says, when 1,000 years are over, Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations in the 4 corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, and to gather them for battle. In number, they are like the sand on the seashore. You can't count the sand on the seashore. That's how many that Satan is gathering to, try to fight God's people. They marched across the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camp of God's people, the city he loves, but fire came down from heaven and devoured them. And that is all it says about it in here. But in the notes, says Gog and Magog symbolizes all the forces of evil that band together to battle God. Noah's son Japheth, this is what I was talking about, Genesis, had a son named Magog in Genesis 10:2. Daisy, calm down. She's distracting me. Ezekiel presents Gog as a leader of forces against Israel. So, then it says, this is not a typical battle where the outcome is in doubt during the heat of conflict. Here there is no contest. 2 mighty forces of evil, those of the beast and of Satan, unite to do battle against God. The Bible uses just two verses to describe each battle. The evil beast and his forces are captured and thrown into the fiery lake, and fire from heaven devours Satan and his attacking armies. For God, it is as easy as that. There will be no doubt, no worry, no second thoughts for believers about whether they have chosen the right side. If you are with God, you will experience this tremendous victory with Christ. So I wanted to read a little bit from this one keeps trying to close on me. The Holman Standard commentary. I wanted to read a little bit from there. If I can get this thing to work right. And there's not much, but I thought that last time it went so long with Ezekiel, and I knew this wouldn't be much, but it is something, it's a future battle that will happen. And sometimes I feel like it's kind of happening now. And I can't say for sure if it is. I don't know. I'm not a prophet. I'm not very good in prophecy. I haven't learned a lot about prophecy. But there's a lot that's going against Christians now. It's just going to get worse. And we need to be prepared for that. We need to know that it's going to happen. And we need to stand firm in our faith. That's the main thing that I feel like these verses are. It's like a comfort to us to know God's going to win no matter what. And I wanted to read this in the Holman. If it can, will it? Nope, that's upside down. Holman Illustrated Bible Commentary. I could have done it like this. What is wrong with my brain? I don't know. It's okay. Satan's release from the abyss in verse 3 is related to the well-known Gog and Magog prophecy in Ezekiel 38:39. This incident will serve as a final proof that even after an extended, unrivaled reign of Christ, Revelation 20:4-6, mankind, those born during the 1,000 years, will still follow the devil. When the rebellion surrounding the beloved city, probably Jerusalem, renovated for Christ's reign of the 1,000 years, is put down by fire from heaven, as in Ezekiel 39:6, the devil is thrown into the lake of fire to join the beast and the false prophet. So, it says to see note on 19 to 20. The beast and the false prophet are captured and thrown alive into the lake of fire. Apparently, the first to be sentenced there. They are not destroyed, but will suffer torment forever. So, what this is telling us is the beast and the false prophet and Satan are going to be there. I feel the same. And my grandma saw the pictures of what Hitler had done to people and didn't believe it. She didn't believe people could do that to other people. She was born in 1914. Human can. Yeah, people are. Yeah, they can be evil. I've seen evil people. I've seen people who, not as evil as Hitler. At least I don't think they were. I've seen some that probably could, if they wanted to, that are just so devious and hateful, and they have so much hate in their heart that it wouldn't bother them to harm anybody, that they only looked out for themselves and they thought they were always right. We have all run across people who maybe didn't have the potential to be evil like Hitler or anything like that. But I've never had a doubt that people could be evil. Because I grew up around people who were just mean to each other all the time. Not necessarily mean to the point of what you see, with some things like the Holocaust and things like that. I didn't grow up around that for sure. But people who were just hateful to each other, who only looked out for themselves, who didn't care about their fellow man, who didn't have any compassion and no empathy, no sympathy, no nothing. They just did not care. And I feel like we're living in a time where people are being so, I want to say brainwashed. But they're being brainwashed into thinking it's a me culture. It's me, and I'm the only one that matters, and I deserve this, and I deserve that, it's we don't deserve anything. We don't deserve anything at all. We deserve death. We deserve hell. We don't deserve what Jesus has done. And people are being brought up now. Children are being brought up to think they're number one. They're the best and they can have whatever they want and do whatever they want. And there's no consequences, because consequences have actually been taken away in a lot of ways. And yes, exactly. Like there was in my city a year or so ago, it was right after all the stuff started happening. There was a man who was let out on bail who was in jail for murder, who got out and murdered someone else. That just happened a couple years ago. I mean, it happens all the time. It happens everywhere, not just the United States, but things have gotten so lenient that people are like, oh, well, I can just do whatever I want. People can just harm others. I'm always seeing where people, okay. Here, hello to all. Square foot garden, yeah. I see people all the time who, you see them on the news where they got out of jail, or they got a little slap on the wrist, as they call it, and then they go on about doing crime again. They don't care. They don't have any consequences. I've seen many times where people will allow their children just to act all kind of ways in the middle of a store, and adults act all kind of ways in the middle of the store, and no consequences. There was something I saw. It was on Instagram not too long ago. It was a video, or it might not have been that. It might have been a news story. I don't remember. But it was where a woman had a little boy. He couldn't have been more than 3 or 4 years old. And the store owner was telling her she had to leave, that she was banned from the store. And the little boy, she was like, why can't I get my stuff and all this stuff? This is not exactly it. And she said, because the man told her, because of the way that you allow him to act, because of the way that he is allowed to talk to people. And the little boy was just cussing words that shouldn't have been coming out of a child's mouth, shouldn't have been coming out of an adult's mouth. But I mean, it was bad. And so he made her leave. He told her, don't come back to the store until you can train your child to act like a decent human. Don't come back here. But people are, I mean, she said, well, I can't whoop him. I can't beat him. And I'm thinking, you don't have to hit a child. I mean, I believe in spanking children. That's my belief. If you don't believe that, that's okay. I rarely ever had to spank my children. I rarely ever did it. It was something I hated to do, but it was something that sometimes needed done. And the only time I ever did it is if they were causing danger to someone else or themselves. But anyway, you don't have to spank a child to train them to do something right. You can give them a killing they have to live with. No hitting involved. Yeah. Tried, but I'm good. What is going with you and why not good? Oh, I see y'all are having, okay, never mind. I know what y'all are saying. I mean, I was like, I missed part of what Donna said. Sorry. But anyway, what the whole point of me saying that is, parents are not being parents. Children are allowed to just do all kinds of things. You see all kinds of things that people are putting up with their ring cams, where people are coming up and stealing. There are people reporting around, not where I live, but in my city. People are coming up stealing their flowers off their porch, like their plants and stuff. You can't have nice stuff if people are just all the time stealing things. We don't have that problem where I live, but just a few, like a little bit over, it happens. Well, all of that stuff is how people are being, what is it, manipulated into thinking that they can do what they want. Okay. I I was trying to read what you were saying, but I understand what you're saying now. Okay. So, I believe that now is a time of the transitioning into the me society, where that everybody thinks that they are owed something, and that is what is going to is progressively going to get worse. And this is my feelings. It's going to get to the point where people are going, in fact, what was it, something in the New York Times on Easter weekend was posted by someone, I think, I don't know if it was a rabbi or ex-rabbi. Anyway, they had been hurting a church, I guess. But they wanted to forget God. They wanted all of us to just forget God because he was this horrible person or horrible thing or horrible whatever. And I cannot remember what it was. I want to see if I can find it. But let's see. I don't remember what it was. But it was just recently, 4 days ago. Okay, it was on Fox News. For Passover and Good Friday, New York Times essayist writes about killing hateful God. If he were mortal, the God of Jews, Christians, and Muslims would be dragged to The Hague, and yet we praise him. And this person wrote this. I don't want to read it all. I'll put it down. But he pretty much said we should stop paying attention to God. He did say that. That's what he said. And just because there's wars and there's all of these things that are happening, which are going to happen, here's the link. I'll post it here, and I will also put it in the description box. But anyway, there we go. All right. Nothing different will happen than happened to Jesus before he was crucified, and there are lots of ways to crucify someone. But yeah, they want us to forget God. They don't want us to go to God whenever we're in troubles, whenever they don't want us to have a savior. They don't want us to know about the savior. They're trying everything. They pushed him out of school. And what really gets me is they've pushed him out of school. Now they're trying to push the parents out of school so that the children don't have an advocate, and trying to teach them all these things that are completely against God. I mean, you can live whatever lifestyle you want to live, but don't try to push that on the children. And I know I homeschooled. It was not for this reason. The reason why I homeschooled is I was kind of selfish. I wanted my kids home with me. That was one of the reasons. The other reason is I didn't like the school system where we lived. And I definitely didn't like the school system whenever we moved here. Other reason is I had seen so many homeschooled children who did so much better than because I grew up around my aunt. Well, she wasn't technically my aunt. She was my step aunt. She's actually Judy's aunt. But because we have a different dad, Judy and I do. Anyway, she had homeschooled her children, and she adopted children and homeschooled them. She's also a foster parent. I don't know if she still does that or not. But I had grown up around children who were homeschooled, and I liked the way they acted better. I just felt like that was what we were supposed to do. In this day and age, if I had a young child, there's no way I'd send them to public school because they're trying to indoctrinate them into all kinds of things to be against parents. And I remember when I was in school, they would talk about, well, if your parent does this, you need to tell us, you need to report it, I think that was the start of it back whenever I was in school. That was the start of, let me have your children. That was the thing. And it's like the government thinks that they can do better than we can as parents. Not all of the government, but some of it. That's the way it feels. And this is not where this was supposed to go today. But all of these things happening is going to be I mean, it's where it's been started, and it's just progressively getting worse until it gets to the point of whenever Revelation happens. I wanted to read this from the Matthew Henry commentary, and this is the one that, I mean, I go to this one all the time. But it says, an account of another mighty conflict, very sharp, but short and decisive. The restraints laid on Satan are at length taken off. While this world lasts, Satan's power in it and will not be wholly destroyed. So right now, there are restraints on Satan. God has restrained him from doing certain things. But he's going to be free, like totally free for a little while at some point. I don't want to be here when it happens. I just don't want to be in that battle. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that kind of thing. From what I have read in the Bible, I don't want to be here, but I don't know if I will or not. Okay, no sooner is Satan let loose than he falls to his old work, deceiving the nations and so stirring them up to make war with saints and servants of God. His last efforts seem to be the greatest. The principal commanders in this army under the dragon Gog and Magog, of Gog and Magog together, we only read in Ezekiel, a prophecy whence this in the Revelation borrows many of its images. The march and military disposition of this formidable army, the doom and punishment of the grand enemy, the devil, he is now cast into hell with his two great officers, the beast and the false prophet, to be there tormented night and day forever and ever. So that's what Matthew Henry says about it, and that's what the Bible says. I mean, that's what's going to happen. He's going to be cast into hell with the false prophet and the beast. I used to think that the beast was Satan, but after reading Revelation, I found that he's not. It's three different, beings, three different separate people. I don't know if it's actual people or how. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that part works. Satan was an angel. He was an angel, so I know he's not a human. But I feel like all of the things that are happening, all of the things that the world is what they're trying to indoctrinate people into and what they are indoctrinating people into, that's just people or institutions. That's just the start. This is just the beginning of the bad. This is just the start of it. But I've heard people say, well, why do we want to keep having children as Christians if we know that the world's going to get worse? Well, because one, God says to be fruitful and multiply, to have children. And also, how are you going to have God's army if you don't be fruitful and multiply? Why give up on God's, what God has said, just because it's going to get bad? Because God has also said that Satan loses. This battle in Revelation is when Satan loses. It is the end of him. He cannot harm anyone anymore. And it says in verse 10, and the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake burning with sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet have been thrown. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever. That right there, and there's not much more left in Revelation. It only goes to Revelation 22. That's Revelation 20. And there's just not much that happens after that, other than God makes everything new after that. In chapter 21, John sees a new heaven and earth. And that's what we're supposed to be looking forward to. The new heaven and earth, where we will be with God, where we will be with Jesus, and it will be glorious. It will be no more of this pain and torment, no more sickness, no more tests for little babies, no more like the things my niece has gone through, no more surgeries, no more feeding tubes, no more any of this stuff. And I feel like some Christians have kind of given up. I feel like the church has gotten too worldly. Since we have moved here, and September will be 10 years that we've lived here where we live now. We have gone to 1, 2, 3, 4 churches. Yeah, 4 churches. One of them is completely gone. It imploded upon itself, I guess. I mean, they sold the building and the whole church. They don't meet anywhere anymore. The whole church is completely gone. Another church, the only reason we left there was because the youth, our children were young and they didn't have anything for them, which if we would have been thinking the way we do now, it wouldn't have mattered. We would have stayed there. It was a good church. Another church that we went to, it became very political and turned into something it shouldn't have been. It wasn't like a church anymore. They weren't preaching the gospel. They were preaching other things. And then the last church we were in, from what we had understood, it had completely fallen apart. They did sell the building and everything else, which now we found out that they are meeting somewhere else and have been the whole time, even though we didn't know it. But it's further away from our home and stuff. So we're, and then everything happened with Julie. So since we've had my sister's kids, we haven't been actually attending church anywhere. We've watched online. We've watched different churches that, things like that. We've done Bible studies at home and stuff like that as a family, but we haven't actually been to church, which after Julie gets out of the hospital, we're planning on searching for a church again, because I feel like that's something we want to do as a family. I don't feel like you have to go to church, a church building, to be a Christian, but I do feel like it helps you to be around other Christians, your faith walk. That's my feeling. But I do feel like you have to watch, because there are some churches that are following the wrong things. They're following the world still, or they're following the contemporary Christian music movement, which has changed over the years. We all know that. And then you find that there's different churches that are really big into the music, but they're falling apart because their leaders are not following what God says to do, which is sad. But you have to be careful about who you're following, about what you're following. And as I say all the time, if you don't stay in this, then you're going to get lost. And I know myself, back years ago, I had gotten to the point where I got out of the Word. I quit going to church. I quit reading my Bible. I quit following God completely, almost. I mean, it was not completely, but really close. And then I felt like my whole life was just falling apart around me. I got back in the Word and rededicated my life, and everything changed for me. But if we're not staying in the Word, we won't know what's going on. Because, I mean, and actually, if Gog and Magog had not been mentioned, I may not have really studied that. I might not have looked at that. I might not have, I mean, yes, I read it, but I haven't really read it, I haven't really studied it. So that is, it's given me new hope since I've read this again, since I've actually looked at it, since I really started looking at Gog and Magog. And it just sounds so weird that a battle in Ezekiel brought me, to this place because of someone asking, hey, what do you know about this? Well, nothing really. I just heard of it. And then I start studying it, and then we do this, and it really helps me to understand that God's there no matter what. I just have to do my part, which is stay in his word and trust him. That's all we're really asked to do. That's all that God asks us to do, is to trust him. And if we trust him, we're going to do what he says. And if we do what he says, then we'll be okay, no matter what. That's just my thoughts. And I know this was a little bit odd today, but isn't everything I do a little odd? Maybe it's not odd. Maybe I just feel like it's odd. But I did enjoy studying this. And if you guys have anything else you want to study, you can always send me an email. You can put it in a comment. You can put it on the chat. And I will see. I have a list that I'm working on. I'm still, well, I guess I can mark Gog off. I can mark that one off now. But we are in a battle right now. We're in a battle. And the battle is just going to get more fierce. And I believe that we have to stay in his word and keep fighting the battle, keep fighting the good fight. I heard a pastor say that a lot growing up. He would say, you gotta fight the good fight. Donna has some topics. She has sent me some topics. And one of them I'm still trying to figure out because I need to know more. And I also don't want it to be, I don't want to mess it up. It's about biblical slavery. It's about, how slavery was in the Bible, because it was different than what slavery is now in some instances, even though it was what it is now. But yeah, she's got some topics. I has a list, but I'm trying to get that one. And forgiveness is one of hers. I believe Lucifer was one of hers. I can't remember who. I can't remember which one of you guys said something about Ruth. It might have been Donna. She gives me lots of them, and I don't mind. I don't mind at all. But I guess that's really all. I mean, I know today wasn't much. It was only 3 verses. But you get a lot from those verses. There's a lot of encouragement there. And I want to encourage you guys to just stay in the word, fight the good fight, and just keep going. And also keep everybody all of the Christians, we need to keep Christ's body in prayer. I learned a lot. I learned things. I've read it before. That's what's so crazy is I've read it before, but I've never really studied it. I just, like you do any book, it was one of those, well, let's read the Bible in a year. And I just read it to be reading it, not reading it to study it. And there's a lot of parts of the Bible that's that way. I can say I've read the whole entire Bible several times, but I can't say I've studied everything. I can't say I know everything, but I have read. And sometimes I'll hear something, I'm like, oh, I read that, but and then I want to dig deeper. So, yeah, we just have to know that we're in a battle, and we've got to keep fighting it. And we've got to know that God wins no matter what. And that means if God wins, the Christians win, because we are his children, and we know he's going to win. It's such a comfort to know that. Have you ever read the Bible in 30 days? No, never tried that. I just don't think I could. I mean, I probably could, but the Bible's a big book. It's a lot of books in I have not tried that one. I've done 90 days. I've done a year. I've done the year a few times. I've done the 90 days. I've read the whole New Testament in 30 days, but not the whole Bible. There's just so much to ingest in this. There's just so much in just one book one thing that teaches you about everything, even though you don't think it's going to teach you. It's mind-boggling. Do it every 30 days. It is 45 chapters per day. I can listen to it, but I don't know if I can read it. I could listen to it every day. I actually used to. We had a radio in our bedroom, and we had not DVDs, CDs playing the Bible over and over and over again all the time, 24/7. They were on. I don't know why we quit. We took the radio out of our room. It's one reason why. I guess that's the only reason why. But we had the Bible playing all the time. It was just constant. I think I need to do that again, because I would hear things and then it would cause me to want to go study, which I'm always wanting to study. But 45 chapters a day. I don't think I'd absorb it in small time, even 90 days. Lots here to think about, study on. Yeah, I wouldn't absorb it. I know that I would not get everything from it. But whenever you read it, you do get something, even though you're not getting everything that it has for it. Which, honestly, I can read something and then come back to it a year later, and it means something, like God shows me something else. I see more, or, something like that. I think sometimes God gives you little bits that you need, and he'll help you to know more. The Holy Spirit guides you to what you need at that time. But I guess I'm gonna go so that 3 times through it. Oh, okay. I may have to try it. I don't know. That's a challenge for sure. In 90 days, 45 chapters a day. Let me write that down. You got me all kind of wondering now. I had a pen. What did I do with it? Oh, it's here. There it is. Okay. Bible in 90 days. 45 chapters each day. I may have to try it just to challenge myself. I think on the Bible app there's a thing where you can do that, but I'm not sure. Like a plan. Not sure if there is or not. I know there's 365-day ones. I can send it to you if you have a P.O. box. Yeah, my P.O. box is always in my it's in my description box, and it's on my about page. Whatever that thing is. I've noticed there's a lot of newer YouTubers that didn't even fill out their about page or a lot of things. I think they're using phones, and whenever you use your phone, you don't see certain things to fill out. I filled out mine years ago, but I probably need to redo it because I've been doing this going on 6 years now. Still not that great, but I'm trying. But I'm gonna go. I will see you guys next Tuesday for this. I have read it chronologically too. I've read it chronologically. I actually have a chronological Bible, I believe. Let me see. No, this is just a yearly Bible. it? I don't know. I know I had one time, but I think I gave it away. No, this is the archaeological one. I don't know if I still have the chronological one. Link which one? The archaeological one? You can't buy it anymore. Not this one. This Bible is, I bought it used. It was very mistreated. I'll try to find a link. There may be one, and you might find it at a thrift store or something. I love it though. It is good. I'll leave it right here so I can remember. This is the 1 year one that I thought I had a chronological one. I may still have a chronological one. I have given away Bibles over the years, so I may not have it anymore. But I just thought about this is a prophecy study Bible that I have that it may have different notes for the Revelation. Let's see. Let's see. It says Gog and Magog. The use of these names are here, and in Ezekiel 38:39 has confused some readers. A thorough reading of the two passages will reveal that the events are not the same. The one thing these events have in common is that both national entities, Gog and Magog, are driven by the spirit of rebellion against God. In these two cases, God uses the same names because of the deceptively satanic spirit that motivates them both. This is a Tim LaHaye study Bible. And you know, Tim LaHaye and I think he passed away not long ago. Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins wrote the Left Behind series, and they've written other books too, but that are like just Bible study books, not fiction. You know, the Left Behind are all fiction, but they're based on biblical prophecy and things. But anyway, this is one I picked it up at a thrift store or something, but I like it because it's got lots of things. But there's different people. Let's see. It's got different people who wrote in this: John Ankerberg, Tony Evans, Chuck Smith, David Jeremiah, Zola Levitt, Erwin Lutzer, Josh McDowell, Adrian Rogers, and dozens more. It says that they got together and did this Bible, but I think Tim is the one that passed away not long ago, a couple years ago. But it's neat because it's got like timelines and stuff in it. I just like all kinds of Bibles. I'm maybe a weirdo. I don't know. I'm going to go put this one back. I don't know where I have it. If I have a chronological one, it's probably in one of the cases like this one was. I put this one in this case because it's falling apart, and I don't want it to break anymore. Like it's a book, it's like a hard book bound Bible. I mean, it's not falling apart to the point where that I'll show you what I'm talking about. It has no binding here, and then it's like hard book, and it's not coming apart there, but I don't want it to mess up anymore, so I keep it in this case to and I usually, whenever I use it, I'll lay it on the table and I'll use it that way. I won't pick it up much or anything like that, because I don't want it to fall apart because you can't get it again. Let me see if I can find it. Archaeological Study Bible. All right, let's see. I have one. It's a different one than this. Thrift Books has them. Or at least they have it listed. Oh, they do. I'm going to put this in the description. I got too excited and went the wrong way. All right, there's that. Oh, there's too many characters. Hold on. I'm just going to put it in the description box. See if I can spell this right. I never do spell this right. Okay. It's a long Thrift Books thing. So you may be able to find it otherwise, but you can use that link as a reference. But I like the archaeological one. I've actually used it in some of our studies, I think. All right. So I'm just sitting here just chatting now. Talking about my Bibles. I thought I did have a chronological one, though. I might have given it away. I don't know. But, oh, you're welcome. Anytime that I can, if I find something and can pass it on, I'm going to do it because, you may want it too. eBay has it too, or at least they're supposed to. There is another one. It's the ESV Archaeology Study Bible. But from what I've read it's like a newer version of this. And people like this one a lot better than that one. So that's one reason I haven't bought that one is because I have this one and it's more in depth. And I don't need one that's not as in depth. And now, if the other one was more in depth, I might get it, but I don't know if I would or not because I don't need it. I don't need anymore. I just don't. But I do like to have different ones that help me study. But I'm gonna go and I don't have my watch on because it's charging. But anyway, Jeff will be home in a few minutes, and we're gonna work on the kitchen some more. We've got stuff still here. We're gonna work on that, and I don't know how all those pillows got there, but Daisy's there. Her blanket's getting washed, so she has a towel. Because if not, she'll have hair everywhere. She's usually been sitting on her little scratch and post perch thing, but not today. She's in here with me today. Maybe because she wanted you guys to see her. I don't know. But I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope we all got something from this because that's what matters. Don't forget to keep everybody in prayer because we need to, to keep everyone in prayer. But Ellie, for sure, hopefully the test will not be as horrible as what test can be horrible, but a baby, they don't understand. So they don't understand pain like we do. They don't know what's going on. And if it's an adult, they can understand, hey, this is going to happen and this is why. And even if they're an older child, but a baby doesn't know. So keep her in prayer. Thank you guys again for being here, hanging out with me today. And I will see y'all for this next Tuesday and for my next video tomorrow night. Thank you guys again. And I keep saying thank you because I don't know. Love you too, Carol. Remember, don't take any wooden nickels and be sweet.